Welcome, everybody. This is Lisa Hall with Tight Ship Business Coaching, your business success coach. And I'm here today to interview one of my breakout speakers for my next event, which is called Destination Freedom, Building Your Dream Business on Your Own Terms. The event is scheduled for August 27th right here in Knoxville, Tennessee at the beautiful Gettysview Country Club. And I'm thrilled today because I have one of my good friends and business partners, Ann Leach, here to speak to us today. I actually met Ann through my coaching program. She's a member of the same program that I am, and we've become fast friends, and excited to have her coming out to Knoxville because she is just a wealth of knowledge, and she has so many wonderful just tips and skills to share with our community. So, Ann, thrilled to have you. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is you do?
Absolutely. And let me just say, I'm really excited about getting back to Knoxville and being with your people, right? They're just, you've got a great following, and I know it's going to be a terrific event. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
So what I do in real life is help people move through loss and change after a life-altering event. So that might be the death of somebody that we love. It might be dealing with downsizing at work. A big one is empty nest syndrome, right? Because you're kind of excited to see them move on, but at the same time, that's a big change for you and your family. So whatever life-altering event it is that has affected my client, I want to be there to support them.
Fantastic. So how did you get into this line of work? Because you don't typically hear about, coaches working with people that have gone through life and change very often. So how did you, I'm curious to learn more about how you got into it.
That'll always teach what you most need to learn, right?
Right.
For me, life experience. By the time I'm an only child, first of all. And so by the time I was 21, 22, every man in my life was dead. My dad died when I was 8.
Wow.
The various uncles and grandfathers. And so then it was my mom and me for many, many years. And her side of the family, but then they started to die off as well. And so by the time I was 31, every female in my life was dead.
Wow.
And what I find so interesting is I'm down to 4 cousins on my mom's side and 4 cousins on my dad's, and of course their families. But that's really about all that I have. And so that experience with my mom, because I was older and had been out on my own for a few years, but that part of the journey in supporting her to the end of her life really laid the foundation for my future, because I got to see the resources that were available, and I had to really look for them, and it was very frustrating. And so through that experience, I just wanted to help people find those resources a little bit easier. I decided to be one of those resources and to help people really kind of lighten up about this whole death experience. It was such an honor to be with her at the end. And I know not everyone gets that opportunity, but it really did affect me spiritually and personally. And so I decided to pursue that. And through that, I've helped tons of people. It's been such an honor. But then, as you know, I went through the Joplin, Missouri tornado of 2011. Joplin is where my home is. And I lost everything that day. And I worked through my own process. It was very eye-opening. I realized that my work was applicable for any kind of loss, right? So divorce, natural disasters, which I don't wish on anybody. But,
Right.
my same principles applied, and so I began to expand the business. That's actually one of the gifts that came out of that whole experience.
I love that you're able to look back at that situation and all of your loss and really see that there was something to learn from it and that it was a gift that enables you to now help others. That's pretty incredible. A lot of people get stuck right there, right? So good for you. And what is the best part of what you do? What do you enjoy most when you're working with your clients?
Well, when we look at any kind of change, people are so frightened of it, right? And so being able to be that partner on the path with them to help them, first of all, dispel some of those fears, but then create a very sustainable, doable action plan to move through it, to ultimately get to the other side so that you can create the life that you want to live now. That's just so rewarding.
Oh, that's awesome. I bet it would be. Absolutely. So, the name of the conference that you're coming out for is Destination Freedom, Building Your Dream Business on Your Own Terms. And I wanted to ask you today, what does that mean for you?
Wow. I think for me, it's about knowing that I can truly enjoy and sustain the lifestyle that I've chosen to live. As an only child and being single at this point in my life, I realized that it's me relying on me. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
the vision that I have, nobody, I don't mean to say that I don't have plenty of supportive friends and resources available to me. But when it gets down to it, it's really me making that commitment to live that life that I say I want. And so that's what the freedom is for me, is being able to know that I can do that and I have not only the capability, but the willingness and the resources to make it happen.
Awesome. Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very inspiring too that you are an entrepreneur. We have a lot more women going into entrepreneurship right now, more than any time in our history, but that you're doing it and you're single. And so you're, relying on yourself and completely is really inspirational.
And what I really want to get across is that any of us can do this, right? I mean, you have that desire, it's possible. And I think that's what your conference is just going to be about, is really helping people understand that. And in that room, even to find the resources that they need. That connection is really going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was huge at the first conference. The relationships I've seen develop out of that was inspiring to me. And even in the moment during the day, to see the connections that were happening in front of me, every time we had a break or a lunch break and people were getting up and going across the room to connect with somebody that had stood up at the mic and stuff, it was incredible. Absolutely. Okay, so as we're planning the event and coming up to it, people are going to be curious about what your breakout session is going to be about. So could you tell us the title of that and what people can gain from coming to spend the 90-minute session with you?
I'm calling it SOS. And I think what I love about our business is we're so aligned in terms of our names, right?
We are. Fantastic.
And so I'm trying to follow that theme with you. So it's called SOS, Getting Back to Work and Back to Life After Riding the Waves of Change.
That's fantastic. So what are some takeaways? What are people going to experience when they're in the room with you?
What we want to do is we want to create that SOS plan, right? So that if, God forbid, something happens to your business or something happens to you, you are going to be prepared to cope, right? And so many people, unfortunately, put that part on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
Face it, we're overwhelmed with just the day-to-day tasks of managing the business, right? But then something happens. If you should get sick, if you have your own type of loss that requires you to step away from the business and go be that caregiver to someone, or having emergency surgery. There's just a million things that can happen, right? And so what I want to help your folks do is, first of all, realize that we need to have a plan in place, right? And then we're going to look at the economic impact of what happens, not just to you, but to your team, to even the community if you're taken out of the picture for a while. And that is really going to show people, I definitely need to step up and have a plan in place, right?
Right.
Rather than allowing them to stay in panic mode, we're going to get set to planning. And they're going to walk out of my session with a very concrete plan. I've got templates for them that is going to make it very easy so that they'll know immediately what needs to happen, who they need to contact. I have 3 areas of the business that I've pinpointed that they have got to be the focus of your attention within 90 days after that event happens. These are things that need to be addressed immediately. So we're going to go over that. We're going to work on the emotions of that and how we can balance the emotion with the practical steps that need to happen. It's going to be a very full session, but I think it'll be a rewarding one. And those that will be there, you know, they're going to understand that this is just as important as networking, getting the bookkeeping handled. We've got to have a plan. We have a
Absolutely.
Here's your survival plan.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Anne, because I think we've all been in situations, or at least I know I have as an entrepreneur, where I've had, you know, a death in my family this past year. A couple of summers ago, I think it is 2 years ago now, I was struck down with pneumonia, and I was out for a week. I literally could barely lift my head. I didn't have the lung strength to, you know, stand up in the shower and take a shower. And so running my business, and I was very fortunate because my VA had my passwords to all of my accounts so she could get in and reschedule my appointments. And so what you're teaching during my event is so crucial. You don't want something to happen to you and come back a couple of weeks later if you're put in the hospital, or like you said, go through a loss and not have a business to come back to.
And it sounds really dry. It's like, oh yeah, I know I need to do that. And in fact, many of us have our policy and procedure manual. Mine's right back there on the shelf, right? And those are all good things, but this is going to be fun. I have door prizes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, and you have a fun and lively personality. So if anybody can make this subject that is kind of, you know, a intense subject and awkward conversation fun, you can do it. I know that.
I'm going to bring my markers. We're going to have fun. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. Tell us how people can reach you if they want to go to your website and get to know more about you before the event.
Absolutely. I would love to have them visit. It's, of course, www.lifepreservers, more than one, lifepreserversgriefsupport.com.
And from there, I know that people can click on your links and follow you on your social media channels. So if they want to get to know you better, that would be fantastic.
A lot of time on Facebook, so come join me there. Let's be Facebook friends.
Yeah, and always post very motivational things on her Facebook too. She's a lot of fun to be a part of on Facebook. So I invite you to do that. So for sure. And thank you for spending time with us this morning, and to you know, for sharing with us a little bit more about yourself, your business, and what you're going to bring to us on August 27th. So excited to have you out here for Destination Freedom, and for you getting here even a day before or whatever, so we get to visit and share some time together. So thanks for being one of my guests here on the Hangout, but also for being a member of the group that's going to put on this event. I know everyone's in for a treat.
Thank you.
All right. And so if you're looking for information on Destination Freedom, the website is destination-freedom.info. You can go there to learn about Anne and all of the other speakers. There's even a calendar of what the day's events are going to look like, the schedule, and we hope to see you there. And my tagline is, what's your destination? So, you know, be thinking about that as we lead up to the event. You know, do you have that plan in place if something should happen to you. We want to make sure that our destinations are as well planned and thought out as can be possible. So we'll see you on the next Hangout, and thanks for tuning in and listening today. Bye, Ann.
Hi.